So, in your multimedia assignment, you have got to produce some spreadsheet data and then use that data to create graphs. And the graphs are what are going to be used on your website. Here you can see an example of a finished version that I've created. Now, you're going to get a spreadsheet that's got some of this data on it. It's not going to look like this because this is an example of what it could look like when you alter the layout and format, when you use formula and functions, and when you use the data to create graphs. Okay, so I'll just highlight some of the things I've done. Then when you get the spreadsheet, before it's all formatted and before it looks like this, and before my final example, you'll be able to see the potential of what you can do. I don't want you copying what I've done. This is just to give you ideas. Okay, so first of all, I have merged and centered at the top here using this. I've also filled the color here. You can use the fill tool here, and I've also made this bold. Notice how it goes across that top table there. I've then put borders around the whole of this table. I could scroll down to make sure you could see it all. I've also done some text wrapping in there. Look, it's got wrap text. That means that it's going to go on different lines within a box. To put borders around things, you use this tool here, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you're going to have to think about all those. Lastly, what I did with this particular table here is look at these particular columns here. They're in different shades of green. That's because they apply to exercise, so they're all green in one color. The colors are not really significant. These apply to screen time, different shades of orange, and these apply to sleep, so they're in blue. Okay, so that's why they're all similar there. All right, some more formatting here. So you're going to get this data here. You'll see that your data doesn't quite look like that. I've done a merge and center here, and I've put that with black with white text just to make it different from here. This data you'll also get, and I've also done the same with that as well. So that's data from outside sources. This here is data from CBC. Okay, so when you've got your data here, you will see that it has numbers in here with text on. Now, formulas and functions are not very good at reading numbers and text together. It doesn't really work like that. So you have to really convert them into numbers, which I've done for you. So for instance, 0 to 2 hours becomes 2 hours. And if you look, it's got some fancy formula here, which is an if statement. But we're not expecting you to do that. That's why I've done it for you. So 0 to 2 hours becomes 2 hours, 6 to 8 hours become 8 hours, 4 to 6 becomes 6, and so on and so on. Same with all of these here. So that becomes the top of what people have answered. It's just getting it to some data that's usable. All right, so the next thing I've done is I've done a function down here. So I've done a function. This is an equal average function. Now, if I double click that, you'll show it's highlighting the C column. Now, the C column relates to, and I've forgotten, so I'll go and have a look. It relates to how much exercise do you estimate you get in an average school week. So how much exercise you get in an average school week, that's the average of what everybody said. So 7.58 is the average from everybody that answered the survey. Okay, that's in a school week. In a holiday week, same thing again. Double click, you can see it's on the E column. On the E column, 7.17. So then this one here is an average of this one and that one. So the average amount overall is 7.37. So students in CBC say they get an average amount of exercise of 7.37 hours in a week. Okay, overall. And then what I've done here, and this is a formula, is I've divided that by 7. Because I'm asking for a day, and there are 7 days in a week, but you already knew that. So I've divided it by 7. So the average per day overall is 1.05. All right, so over here, what I've done is I've brought that data over here, and I've stuck it here. Okay, and then I've got recommended exercise in a day, and I've taken this data from up here. Because at least 60 minutes a day of moderate to vigorous intensity physical activity. So that's saying for that age group, which is the same age group as what over there, you need at least 60 minutes, which is 1 hour. So 1.05 is what the CBC average was, and 1 is what they recommend. And then I've basically done a graph from them 2 figures there, and there's the graph. I've made the graph look fancy. If you use this tool here, you can put like labels on the axis, data, and you can also put data labels. That's what these are called. You can put a chart title on. You can also color these things. You can double click, and then you can do things in here as well, and then it look fancy. Okay, so the last thing I'd have to do there, after I've finished it all, click off it, do a print screen or use the snipping tool, and take that graph from there. You can also see down here I've done another graph where all I've used is the average exercise in a school week compared to the average exercise in a holiday week. So all I've done is 2 graphs from the exercise. I've not used anything else. So they're my 2 graphs that I've chosen to use. I don't want you to do exactly the same thing. I want you to choose your own graphs to do and your own data to use. There's plenty of data on there. And do you have to use the national data and the CBC data? No. But it gives you some good ideas. You've got sleep data here, and you've got some exercise data and screen time data up there. So you have to make the spreadsheet look professional in terms of layout and those kinds of things. And then you have to use the data and create some formulas and some functions, and ultimately create graphs. Okay, hope that helps. Thanks. Bye.